Is it possible to limit people's education so they don't reach their cognitive capacity? It sounds very evil, but it's the ugly truth. The 33rd degree knowledge, a form that could transform your life, was not allowed for Black people. They always said Black people don't have the intellectual ability to understand this. But maybe they feared that Black people would begin to wield significant influence and power if they discovered it. But what does it contain that they didn't want Black people to know? Let's find out. Let's start the discussion with what 33rd degree knowledge is. The definition of the 33rd degree knowledge within Freemasonry lies in its status as the pinnacle of attainment within the fraternity. Reserved for only a select few, attaining the 33rd degree is considered the highest honor bestowed upon a Freemason. The 33rd degree knowledge was not allowed to be given to Black people in Freemasonry. Before the American Revolutionary War, Prince Hall and other free Black men were declined admittance to the White Boston St. John's Lodge. They then sought initiation into Masonry through Lodge number 441 of the Grand Lodge of Ireland in 1775. Despite founding African Lodge number 1 and being elected master, the existing members had to unanimously accept new members, and any white member's vote against a Black petitioner would lead to rejection. This exclusion extended to the 33rd degree knowledge, reflecting the discriminatory practices prevalent at that time. Within Freemasonry, the degrees symbolize stages of spiritual and moral enlightenment, with each degree imparting progressively deeper insights into the mysteries of the universe. The 33rd degree represents the culmination of this journey, granting the recipient access to the most profound secrets and teachings of the fraternity. The history of Freemasonry has indeed been intertwined with exclusionary practices, particularly concerning individuals of African descent. Despite Freemasonry's purported ideals of brotherhood, equality, and enlightenment, its ranks have historically been closed to Black individuals, reflecting broader patterns of racial discrimination prevalent in society. From its origins in the Middle Ages to its proliferation across continents in the modern era, Freemasonry has been predominantly composed of white male members. The exclusion of Black individuals from Freemasonry can be traced back to the era of slavery and colonialism, where racial hierarchies and prejudices were deeply entrenched in society. During the height of transatlantic slavery, Black individuals were systematically marginalized and oppressed, denied the most basic rights and freedoms afforded to their white counterparts. In this context, Freemasonry served as a bastion of privilege and exclusivity, with membership reserved for those deemed worthy, according to the prevailing racial norms of the time. In many cases, Freemasonry served as a vehicle for upholding the status quo and perpetuating systems of racial inequality. White Freemasons often used their positions of power and influence within the fraternity to reinforce social hierarchies and exclude Black individuals from participating in lodge activities. Even as societies progressed and slavery was abolished, Freemasonry remained largely closed to Black individuals, with racial barriers persisting well into the 20th century. Black Freemasons who sought admission to predominantly white lodges often faced resistance and discrimination, finding themselves relegated to separate and unequal lodges or outright barred from membership altogether. The legacy of exclusion within Freemasonry has left a profound impact on Black communities, depriving them of access to the knowledge, camaraderie, and opportunities for advancement afforded to their white counterparts. This exclusionary history continues to reverberate within Freemasonry, highlighting the enduring challenges of racism and inequality that persist within the fraternity and society at large. And what was included in third degree knowledge? Firstly, it has the law of action. The law of action within the 33rd degree knowledge of Freemasonry emphasizes the importance of actively engaging with the principles and teachings of the fraternity to effect meaningful change in one's life and the world around them. This law emphasizes that knowledge alone is insufficient without corresponding action, and that true mastery is achieved through applying knowledge in practical and transformative ways. The law of action encourages Freemasons to embody the fraternity's principles and values in their thoughts, words, and deeds, and to actively participate in the rituals, ceremonies, and service activities that define Freemasonic practice. By taking deliberate and purposeful action in alignment with Masonic principles, members can manifest positive change in their own lives and contribute to the betterment of society. The law of action also emphasizes responsibility and accountability. challenging Freemasons to take ownership of their actions and consequences. By recognizing the interconnectedness of all beings and the impact of their actions on the world around them, members are called upon to act with integrity, compassion, and wisdom in all aspects of their lives. Furthermore, the law of action emphasizes the transformative power of service and altruism, encouraging Freemasons to use their knowledge and skills for the betterment of humanity. Through acts of charity, philanthropy, and community service, members can embody the principles of brotherly love, relief, and truth that lie at the heart of Freemasonry, making a positive difference in the lives of others and leaving a lasting legacy of goodwill and compassion. But what did they achieve by not allowing Black people to get the knowledge of the law of attraction? What were they scared of? Some individuals within the organization have harbored racist beliefs or fears about the potential empowerment of Black people through access to certain knowledge. Some members of Freemasonry, particularly those who subscribe to racist ideologies prevalent in society, have harbored concerns about the potential consequences of Black individuals gaining access to teachings such as the law of action. These teachings have been perceived as empowering or liberating, offering insights and strategies for personal and collective advancement that could challenge existing power dynamics and hierarchies. In this context, the withholding of knowledge from Black people within Freemasonry has been motivated by a desire to maintain control, privilege, and supremacy within the organization and broader society. By denying Black individuals access to certain teachings and degrees, some members have sought to perpetuate racial inequality and preserve their positions of power and privilege. Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. Some members have feared that Black people's empowerment through access to certain knowledge could lead to social upheaval or challenges to the status quo. By limiting the opportunities for Black individuals to attain higher degrees and knowledge within Freemasonry, some members have sought to prevent the potential disruption of existing power structures and systems of oppression. Then comes the law of manifestation. The law of manifestation within the 33rd degree Freemasonry knowledge emphasizes the power of thought, intention, and belief in shaping one's reality. It posits that individuals can manifest their desires and intentions into physical reality through the focused application of mental energy and spiritual alignment. The law of manifestation teaches that thoughts have creative power and that the universe responds to the vibrational frequency of one's thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. By aligning one's thoughts, intentions, and emotions with their desired outcomes, individuals can attract and manifest those outcomes into their lives. This principle is often associated with the law of attraction, which suggests that like attracts like, and that individuals attract experiences, circumstances, and opportunities that align with their dominant thoughts and beliefs. Within Freemasonry, the law of manifestation was taught as a foundational principle for personal and spiritual growth. It encouraged members to cultivate positive thoughts, beliefs, and intentions to manifest their highest potential and contribute to the greater good. Practically, the law of manifestation involves techniques such as visualization, affirmation, and meditation, which are used to clarify desires, focus attention, and align one's energy with the desired outcomes. By consciously directing one's thoughts and intentions towards positive and constructive ends, individuals can harness the creative power of the mind to manifest abundance, success, and fulfillment in their lives. Furthermore, the law of manifestation emphasizes the importance of personal responsibility and accountability in the manifestation process. It teaches that individuals are co-creators of their reality and that they have the power to influence their circumstances through conscious thought and action. Then, there was the law of awareness included in 33rd degree knowledge. The law of awareness within the 33rd degree knowledge of Freemasonry pertains to recognizing and cultivating a deep self-awareness and spiritual consciousness. It emphasizes the importance of understanding one's true nature, transcending egoic limitations, and attuning oneself to higher levels of consciousness. At its core, the law of awareness teaches that true wisdom and enlightenment arise from an awakened state of consciousness, wherein individuals perceive reality beyond the confines of the ego and the physical senses. It encourages Freemasons to cultivate mindfulness and inner observation, wherein they become aware of their thoughts, emotions, and beliefs without attachment or judgment. This law emphasizes the idea that true knowledge and understanding come not from external sources but from within. By turning inward and engaging in meditation, introspection, and self-inquiry, individuals can access the deeper truths of existence and align themselves with the universal principles that govern the cosmos. Practically, the law of awareness may involve techniques such as mindfulness meditation, breathwork, and contemplative prayer, which are used to quiet the mind, expand consciousness, and deepen one's connection to the divine. Through these practices, Freemasons seek to transcend the limitations of the ego and access higher states of awareness, wherein they experience unity with the divine and the interconnectedness of all life. Furthermore, the law of awareness emphasizes the importance of living in alignment with one's true essence and spiritual purpose. It calls upon Freemasons to embody brotherly love, compassion, and service, and act with integrity, wisdom, and humility in all aspects of their lives. Another aspect that made sure no Black person knew about it was the law of clarity. The law of clarity within the 33rd degree knowledge of Freemasonry emphasizes the importance of clear vision, purpose, and intention in guiding one's thoughts, actions, and aspirations. It highlights that clarity of mind and purpose is essential for achieving success, fulfillment, and spiritual growth. At its core, the law of clarity teaches that individuals must clearly understand their goals, desires, and motivations to manifest their highest potential and contribute meaningfully to the world. It emphasizes the need for self-awareness, introspection, and discernment in discerning one's true purpose and direction in life. The law of clarity calls upon Freemasons to practice reflection, goal setting, and visioning exercises to clarify their aspirations and intentions. This may involve identifying core values, setting specific and achievable goals, and developing a clear plan of action to manifest those goals into reality. Furthermore, the law of clarity encourages Freemasons to cultivate mental clarity and focus, freeing themselves from distractions, doubts, and limiting beliefs that hinder their progress. It teaches that by maintaining a clear and focused mind, individuals can overcome obstacles, make informed decisions, and stay aligned with their highest aspirations. But what impact did these efforts to limit knowledge have on the Black community? Limiting access to certain esoteric knowledge, such as the teachings associated with the 33rd degree knowledge within Freemasonry, had significant implications for the Black community. By withholding this knowledge from Black individuals, Freemasonry perpetuated a system of inequality and disempowerment. Access to esoteric teachings and higher degrees often symbolizes status, privilege, and access to hidden wisdom. Denying Black individuals the opportunity to attain this knowledge reinforced existing power dynamics and hindered their ability to achieve personal and spiritual growth on equal footing with their white counterparts. Limiting access to esoteric knowledge deprived Black individuals of the opportunity to engage with and contribute to the rich tradition of Freemasonry. Freemasonry has a long intellectual inquiry, philosophical exploration, and spiritual development history. By excluding Black individuals from this tradition, Freemasonry effectively stifled their intellectual and cultural participation, perpetuating a narrative of racial inferiority and exclusion. The exclusion of Black individuals from certain levels of Freemasonry reinforced racial stereotypes and prejudices prevalent in society. By suggesting that Black individuals were not capable of comprehending or embodying the teachings associated with the 33rd degree knowledge, Freemasonry contributed to the dehumanization and marginalization of Black people, perpetuating harmful narratives of racial inferiority and intellectual inadequacy. Freemasonry has historically been a significant force in shaping societal leadership and influencing cultural and political institutions. By limiting access to esoteric knowledge and higher degrees, Freemasonry effectively excluded Black individuals from positions of influence and leadership within the organization and broader society. This exclusion deprived the Black community of potential advocates, allies, and representatives who could have advocated for their interests and aspirations. But how did the Black community still cope with it and rise as a community? Despite the systemic barriers and inequalities perpetuated by organizations like Freemasonry, the Black community has demonstrated resilience, resourcefulness, and a commitment to collective empowerment. In the face of exclusion from certain institutions and knowledge systems, the Black community has cultivated its sources of strength, wisdom, and resilience. Drawing upon cultural traditions, spiritual practices, and communal solidarity, Black individuals have developed rich networks of support and empowerment within their communities. Historically, the Black community has prioritized education as empowerment and advancement, despite limited access to formal education and intellectual institutions. Black individuals have sought opportunities for learning and intellectual development through alternative channels, such as community-based organizations, independent study, and self-directed learning. Black culture has been a source of resilience and resistance against systemic oppression. Through music, literature, art, and other forms of cultural expression, the Black community has preserved its heritage, affirmed its identity, and challenged dominant narratives of inferiority and marginalization. Cultural movements such as the Harlem Renaissance, the Civil Rights Movement, and the Black Arts Movement have catalyzed social change and empowerment. Black individuals and organizations have engaged in grassroots organizing, advocacy, and activism to challenge racial injustice and inequality. From civil rights leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks to community organizers and activists working on local issues, the Black community has mobilized collective action to address systemic barriers and advocate for social change. In the face of economic exclusion and discrimination, the Black community has demonstrated entrepreneurial spirit and resilience. Black-owned businesses, cooperatives, and economic initiatives have provided avenues for economic empowerment, wealth creation, and community development. Through entrepreneurship and economic self-determination, Black individuals have sought to build wealth, create opportunities, and strengthen community resilience. Many people deny that Blacks faced severe discrimination. But isn't the 33rd degree knowledge case proof of this discrimination? The restriction of access to the 33rd degree knowledge within Freemasonry serves as a poignant example of the discrimination and exclusion faced by Black individuals throughout history. This discriminatory practice highlights the systemic barriers and inequalities that have historically marginalized Black people and perpetuated narratives of racial inferiority and exclusion. The Freemasonic tradition, like many other institutions and organizations, has been complicit in upholding racial hierarchies and limiting opportunities for Black individuals to access positions of power, knowledge, and influence. By reserving certain esoteric teachings and higher degrees exclusively for white members, Freemasonry reinforced notions of white supremacy and racial privilege while denying Black individuals equal access to the benefits and opportunities afforded by the organization. Let's end our video with this question. What excuse did they give for not allowing Black people to access this knowledge? As we know, the justification provided for restricting access to the 33rd degree knowledge within Freemasonry was often rooted in racist beliefs and ideologies that perpetuated the notion of white superiority and Black inferiority. One of the most pervasive justifications for denying Black individuals access to esoteric knowledge was the assertion that they were intellectually inferior and incapable of comprehending or applying the teachings associated with the highest degrees of Freemasonry. This racist belief was based on unfounded stereotypes and prejudices about the intellectual capacities of Black people, which served to justify their exclusion from positions of knowledge and authority within the organization. Another justification for restricting access to esoteric knowledge was the promotion of racial purity and exclusivity within Freemasonry. Advocates of this view argued that the preservation of white European traditions and values required the exclusion of Black individuals from certain levels of the organization. By upholding racial segregation and exclusivity, proponents of this ideology sought to maintain the organization's perceived integrity and superiority. Some proponents of discriminatory practices within Freemasonry argued that the teachings associated with the 33rd degree knowledge were inherently incompatible with the cultural and spiritual traditions of Black individuals. This argument was often based on racial stereotypes and misconceptions about the beliefs and practices of Black communities, which were portrayed as fundamentally different or inferior to those of white Europeans. In some cases, discriminatory practices within Freemasonry were justified on religious or theological grounds, with proponents claiming divine sanction for their exclusionary policies. This justification often relied on interpretations of religious texts or doctrines that purported to support the idea of racial hierarchy and segregation, casting Black individuals as inherently inferior or unworthy of access to sacred knowledge. Are white people who talk the most about human rights now ashamed of their actions in the past? Yes, there is a growing awareness among many white individuals about the injustices and atrocities committed in the past, and some are indeed ashamed of the actions of their ancestors or predecessors. This acknowledgement reflects a broader societal reckoning with historical injustices, including slavery, colonialism, segregation, and systemic racism. While some may attempt to justify or minimize the impact of past actions, others recognize the profound harm caused by centuries of oppression and exploitation. This awareness has led to efforts to confront historical injustices, acknowledge the experiences of marginalized communities, and work toward reconciliation and justice. It's important to note that acknowledging past wrongs is a necessary step towards healing and reconciliation. Still, it must be accompanied by concrete actions to address systemic inequalities and ensure that similar injustices are not perpetuated in the present and future. This includes supporting efforts to dismantle systemic racism, promote social and economic equity, and amplify the voices of marginalized communities in shaping policies and practices that affect their lives. Do you think Black people in the education system still face discrimination? Are Western nations even working to end discrimination? Let us know in the comments section. Do they even think that's a problem? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If so, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.